What they do, what it is, this is Orion, aka Brass Balls, bringing you a long-awaited deep dive tape stash. The episode that keeps on giving and giving to the hip-hop fiend in you. Before I take this plunge with y'all, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel Orion Hip Hop, where you can peep previous episodes of Deep Dive Tape Stash, as well as remixes, rare obscure demos, and music from yours truly. Please comment, share, repost. I truly appreciate that. This brother right here, before he was in Trinidad eating mangoes with attorneys, he was doing his thing in the underground and was most notably known as part of the refugee camp. He had stellar performances as featured artist on the Fugees Diamond album, The Score. Most notably, for me at least, is the song Family Business. I love his verse on that, and what he did on Cowboys as well. Really put John Forte into the spotlight. And then once Wyclef released his solo album, The Carnival, he had a bunch of features on there as well, giving him more shine as an artist and making him a anticipated artist, somebody people were looking forward to hear what he got. I will say that in this era, which is 1999, one of the things that I think kind of like overshadowed John Forte's rise is Cannabis, because Cannabis was coming out under the refugee camp as well, and Forte had already a buzz, but man, when Cannabis came in, the buzz was strong. There was very little artists at that time that were heavily sought after like Cannabis. And if y'all look up on YouTube, there is the infamous table meeting between Big Pun, Cannabis, DMX, Mike Geronimo, and Mos Def, all of them at the same table, and John Forte was there, bro. So, you know, that just gives you an indication of where this guy's career was headed, where he was at. Going back to what I was touching on is this album, Poli-Sci, that this song was featured on. This is the first single, and the album Poli-Sci is pretty much John Forte behind production. And there's different interviews that Wyclef has had in regards to why John Forte took on the brunt of production rather than Wyclef, especially given his track record with John Forte. But nonetheless, the brother wanted to take the album on his own and wanted to flesh out his art the way he saw best fit. However, this is the first single. 99 was actually produced by Wyclef, and it's a very jiggy song. This is 98 jiggy right here. And the sample is a 80 sample. It's Nena's 99 Red Balloons. I am not sample snitching. It's a very obvious sample. And, you know, I think they shouldn't have led with this single. I understand why they did, but I think fans would have appreciated the heavy, dope lyricism that John Forte brings to the table as a first offering rather than this club banger. And it was a song that I heard often in the clubs back then. It features a singer by the name of Jenny Fujita. The video was out there. The video was mad colorful, different effects going on. And I almost feel bad for the singer Jenny Fujita, because here you are on like a single that's getting radio play. They're putting you in the video as the hood ornament of some car, and y'all could have done better by her. I'm just saying, you know, Jenny Fujita went on to collaborate with a few other artists, but really didn't pop off in a solo career. It's worth noting that she was on Wyclef's smash single Guantanamera. I will say I wasn't really fucking with this track back then at all, and even today it's just a little too jiggy for my taste back then, and even to some degree now. The B-side to this tape is where it's at for me, and the B-side is Hot. Now on the single, on this tape single, it accredits the beat for Hot to Wyclef, but on the album that same beat is accredited to John Forte. I remember as a jit first hearing Hot on 96.1, Mix 96.1, DJ Khaled was playing it, And I was just like, oh, word. Now I'm looking forward to the John Forte album, because I really wasn't feeling 99. Not my thing. I wasn't even like heavy in the clubs back then, but even if I was, still wouldn't be my thing. You know, I'm just saying. John Forte's album didn't do the numbers that I think labels wanted for him to do, especially you're fresh off the heels of The Score and Wyclef's The Carnival. So I think they were really anticipating for his album Poli-Sci to really take off like those previous works that I just mentioned. Unfortunately for John Forte, he got incarcerated somewhere in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. Distribution of liquid cocaine, served some time. And from my research, and even back then, reading up on it, an artist by the name of Carly Simon, which a lot of you would know. She's got hits, ladies and gentlemen. You're so vain. You probably. Anyways, so Carly Simon and him had a good friendship, and she really was an advocate for him for a long time. And I don't know how much she had to do with it, but eventually John Forte did get pardoned by President George Bush Jr. There you go. An unlikely ally appeared in President Bush. Luckily pardoned. Came out and did his thing as well. Released an album that you could check out. I'll put the little photo of that album for you right there. Bam! It's available on all streaming platforms, and a different direction musically on that album. You know, he went from a stellar lyricist over beats to very much an acoustic, eclectic sound he did on his second album. But it's definitely worth a listen. The brother's a poet through and through, and I even followed him on Instagram. He's done scores for I think 1 or 2 movies at this point, and still very much doing his thing as an artist out there. Interviews that you could peep with John Forte that really go in deep to everything is I loved his People's Party interview with Talib Kweli. There's a Forbes DVD YouTube video you can peep. And there's also a video on YouTube with Sway in the Morning that you can check out. I'm going to put links to all of those interviews in the description box, as well as links to Hot and even the 99 video that I was talking about earlier. Refugee camp should have been a lot bigger than what it was. I feel like they rose so high that's kind of what hurt them. I mean, The Score going diamond, Wyclef with his success off The Carnival, you had Cannabis coming out, Lauryn Hill with The Miseducation, and then you have Pras with Ghetto Superstar. So all of these were, for the most part, industry successes. But the refugee camp is one of them things where, like, I wish it would have came out to full fruition in whatever it was that they were early on trying to accomplish. I don't know how much of this is left to conjecture, but just a lot of controversies, from what happened with John Forte getting incarcerated to Lauryn Hill and the mystery of, like, why isn't the Fugees getting back together? How much is that Lauryn Hill and Wyclef's beef? And then Pras with his legal battles right now. It's definitely an interesting thing that took place with Refugee Camp in that regard. Before I forget, I wanted to mention that if you had one of the CD Max singles, it actually came with a song called Riddle of the Steel. This song is hard as hell, and I do not understand why it did not make the album. I wish it was on this tape cassette. Well, it was actually on the album, but just as an interlude, and that was a major miss. I think John Forte should have made this a full track, either with verses from him or maybe a feature from Cannabis and Wyclef. I'm just saying, this should have, Riddle of the Steel should have been the first single, second single, Hot, and then you release the radio banger of 99. Just saying. Nonetheless, I got the tape, y'all. It's in the collection. You know what it is. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.